Ewan. Okay, and we are live. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Smudtalk. We're going to be talking about, apparently, Star Wars. We were talking about everything before Star Wars when we were starting the stream, but I don't know what exactly on Star Wars. It's a huge topic we can talk about. And we're, of course, watching Gingaman play his, was it 2005 version?
Battlefront, the real Battlefront 2.
What was the problem with the latest one, the 2017? Was there a problem with that?
Well,
EA.
First and foremost, EA loot boxes.
There's
Lack of content.
I see.
The usual issues.
Okay, fair enough.
Although, if you got it post-launch later, it was actually fine. The loot boxes just turned into random cosmetics, like just emotes.
You're like you can
Different
just say
skins.
EA, and then everybody just like, oh, okay. You don't have to explain
Like-
anything else.
But
Like,
yeah,
EA did backpedal on the microtransaction crap after the massive amount of backlash they received.
yes, but thankfully, this is not that game. This is not that game. This is the original Battlefront 2 from 2005. And what better way to showcase this game than with the Journal of the 501st? And of course, what better place to start than Geonosis?
And of course, later down the road, they did add more content, new bounty hunters, new characters, new maps. Like, they did add a lot of extra content. It's clear the developers had a lot of love for the memes and the fandom. It's just EA.
I'm here.
Hey,
Hey, bad boy, how's it going?
Good. I was just making myself a pizza.
Oh, nice.
all right.
Yeah.
Those droids on the wheels, those actually are not trade. Those aren't Trade Federation or Geonosian. Those are from
They're a full CIS. Right?
yeah, they're the banking clan to ensure that their debtors pay them back.
Yep.
so the Trade Federation were using them in episode 1 for those reasons.
Episode 2, and they were on loan from the federal banking clan.
And
Were they
speaking
in
of,
episode 1 though?
I don't think so. No.
But
But speaking of,
is that what the one you're talking about?
the
No,
Droidicas were in episode 1. Yes, those were.
ones
But
we
that's a
saw
separate thing.
a minute ago. Those
Okay, I
ones
thought
where
that's
they're
what
like mobile
Droidicas-
artillery.
Yeah, these right.
Yes, those are from the federal banking clan to
Exactly.
ensure people pay back their debts.
Oh,
Ding
gotcha.
dong, it's paid. It's time to pay your taxes.
Exactly. But you mentioned episode 2. It's like, of course, you can't talk about the story of the Clone Army without talking about where it all began, which is the Battle of Geonosis, right here, the debut.
Where
of the Clone Army.
where the Galactic Republic went and killed Geonosian civilians and started a war.
She's
Good job.
now at least some of us know the story of how Battlefront, in general, came about. It was inspired by DICE's Battlefield series very early on, in the early 2000s. We obviously got the
I
original
did not know that.
Battlefront. We got the original Battlefront in 2004, but that was very clearly it was very much a prototype. But then, despite this game coming out roughly a year later, it still ended up being a fantastic game.
And it is pretty fitting that DICE would go on to make Star Wars Battlefront for EA.
And their game, them being the originators of Battlefield, naturally their Battlefront games would suck ass. Wait, what?
Like, they're fine, they're fun. It's just
No.
EA.
They're fun now because they at least their Battlefront 2 because they actually doubled back and actually fixed a lot of the issues.
Okay, you have to remember the problem was not DICE; it was EA.
It was EA, of course. Yes, DICE was just under their heel. I will grant you that. So of course, it's
This
like
is
when
the remastered version.
no, well, this is I call this Star Wars Battlefront 2 Remastered Ghetto Edition. When I call it remastered ghetto, when I call it Ghetto Edition, it's because you can do it yourself.
Yeah,
I wish they had
he's
made-
running mods.
I wish
This
they
is-
made a game
this
like
is mod.
this,
Yes.
closer to what Call of Duty was.
Oh my god! You know what? I know Ubisoft is making a Star Wars game, and I am cautiously optimistic for it.
What? How exactly is the game going to be? Do we know anything about
From
it?
what I understand, and this is purely an assumption, it's going to be an open world kind of pseudo RPG. So it's going to be Far Cry Star Wars.
So it's basically gonna be like Fallen Order and Survivor, kinda.
Maybe. Only it's going to be
open?
in first person. Presumably, you're going to be playing as some rebel or clone or bounty hunter type deal. Like, I'm going to assume
not a
it's
Jedi.
going to be... I don't know, maybe. I'm going to assume it's going to be like...
Dark Forces?
well, maybe
Jedi
Dark
Knight?
Forces. I'm assuming it's going to play like Far Cry. Which, if you like
Maybe.
Far Cry, you like Far Cry. I personally
maybe-
really like Far Cry 4.
So the best we know about it right now is basically going to be a hybrid between Jedi Knight and Far Cry.
Presumably, if it's even still happening. I know it was canceled and then renewed, and then I haven't heard anything about it since then.
So if it's going to be like Far Cry-esque, so we can expect radio towers, right?
As long as it's like Far Cry 4 and not Far Cry 5. And
Yeah, one
as
can
far as
assume.
I'm concerned, I would honestly prefer the UB towers to get map information, because you know what? I know people complain about the UB towers. I quite like UB towers. Like, it's a fun challenge to go after, especially when you have the buzzer and you can just completely skip the platforming puzzle to get up to the top.
Gingaman, you mentioned Dark Forces. I would love to see that game get remade or remastered.
Well, just like with games like Battlefront 2 and stuff, like Dark Forces, thanks to fan efforts, it's like it has its own like somewhat of an overhaul mod that basically like mounts Dark Forces onto like a micro version of the Source engine. It basically plays like a Source engine game with that mod.
Although I'm going to say Walmart deeply tempted me today because they have a new helmet in the Star Wars series in the Lego sets, Captain Rex.
And now right here is one of the big changes that Battlefront 2 did compared to the first game. The iconic characters, the heroes.
Jedi Master Sam Jackson.
Yes, in the case of the Battle of Geonosis, it's none other than Sam motherfucking L. Jackson himself, Mace Windu.
I would actually like to see Mace Windu return in a side story. Like,
I mean,
have him just show up with his have the Purge troopers and an Inquisitor hunting Jedi. Have him just basically, I guess, a reverse of Darth Vader.
I mean, they've already have the perfect situation for a Mace Windu reappearance, and that's the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, it's like I could see it really working. Inquisitors hunting the rumors of a surviving Jedi forming an insurgent group of rebels to combating stormtroopers and other Imperial forces. Like, Inquisitors go in to clear it out. They bust open a bunker door, and then there's the purple lightsaber. Surprise, motherfucker!
Pretty much.
And have him take down whatever Inquisitor is hunting him.
Right.
And
So
I'm gonna
Now you see, those are all good ideas. And Star Wars, they're not about that.
well,
At least
right
lately,
now.
anyway.
Well, then again, all the big.
Okay,
Well, then again,
I've heard
Yeah.
Andor's actually pretty good.
from word of mouth, but it's like we're at least at the current time we're not going to have as much of a universal consensus as we used to get on media. But what I was going to say is like media has been on a little bit of an upswing, a small one, but something a bit that can give you enough hope. So maybe hopefully things will turn around, most especially with Star Wars. If Andor's anything to go by at the very least.
If Tales of the Jedi is anything to go by, Tales of the Jedi was incredible. If you have an hour to kill, I highly recommend it.
Would you say it's better than Andor?
I haven't seen Andor yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going on word of mouth with Andor. People are saying, you know what? It's decent.
But it's at least something. And again, it's like
It's weird seeing an AK-47 in Star Wars to be a laser blaster, but it's like, you know what? They've always just used modified firearms to be laser blasters in Star Wars.
But I mean, not like that though.
I mean, sometimes it was pretty obvious. Like the stormtroopers were literally just Sten guns.
Yeah, at least those they modified. You know, they chopped them down. They modified them.
They definitely could have modified them a little more.
Yes, the British influence of Star Wars is always ever seen, even in the weapons.
I mean, does it go any further than the fact that at least the visual aesthetic of the Empire is directly based on Nazi Germany? That's just fact. It's like there's nothing controversial about saying that.
People complained about that in Episode 7. It's just like, you know, it was never exactly subtle. It was never exactly subtle in 4, 5, and 6 either.
The British stuff.
They're called stormtroopers, for God's sake.
All almost all the actors, like even the side actors, they were all British guys from the original trilogy.
Yeah, they had to fly in. Who were the two? There was only a few people that were not British that to fly in for all
Or the original trilogy?
Yeah.
I think I
Y'all
forget.
keep talking.
Well,
I gotta go feed my dog.
all right. I forget as well who exactly it was.
Well, even characters like the guy who with the guy who greeted C-3PO and R2-D2 at the gate of Jabba's palace. He's actually a famous British actor that not any Americans know about.
I mean, well, in terms of famous British actors, I think it doesn't go any further than what Alec Guinness, the original Obi-Wan.
I think that's the number one, yeah.
Oh yeah.
At least for Star Wars specifically.
But I think even the guy inside Darth Vader's suit was a British actor. Like
David,
not the actual guy in the suit.
David
but
Prowse, I think.
Oh no, not David Prowse. The guy who's actually when Luke takes off his mask in Return of the Jedi. That guy.
Okay, yeah.
This is the same case with Andor, though. They also have a studio that hired all sorts of British actors as well. So, and it's not just. Apparently, there's not just random people. They actually have a bench of actors that they know that like these guys are in British TV. They're going to hire from there. They're good quality. They're not going to think about it. Go from there. Keep going with production. Don't worry about the details. Let someone else handle it. So they all outsource their third-party companies for everything, which is normal. Big corporations or productions use that. So it's funny that they're going back there because they have such a range of pool of talent to pull in the world.
Yeah.
And somebody in the chat, the Empire did nothing wrong. Oh God.
I mean, maybe if you take Legends into account, because if I remember correctly, wasn't the whole point in Legends wasn't the whole point of the Death Star was it to counter the Yuuzhan Vong? I think Bears brought that up at one point.
I don't
To give some
remember.
credit to the writing in the original trilogy, you never had to be told that they were the bad guys. It was just kind of all the visual imagery implied it.
Well, that's part of what the Legends continuity took advantage of, the fact that they could turn certain ideas and concepts on their head just for the sake of expanding the lore.
And there's also the simple fact that not all the rebels were good people.
That too.
One thing I do like about Rogue One is that it did show the fact that until they had the Death Star plans, they were not unified. They were fighting each other.
Exactly. It wasn't until an opportunity arose to come together to fight the Empire, thanks to having the Death Star plans, that union happened.
I do think it's funny how though when he was brought back to play Obi-Wan in Return of the Jedi, Alec Guinness was like, "No, thank you. I don't really want to do this." And Luke was like, "Oh, all you got to do is sit on a log and start talking. That's all you got to do." It's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, the way he approached it was that if he can get subsidies from the UK government to use their actors, he'd do it. And it was cheap in the first film, so he kept using that as not as an excuse, but it was just the thing he kept doing, and it worked out for him. Now, why they're still doing that, I don't know. That's something else with whatever Star Wars is like today.
Are they using his likeness?
Well, whatever the management of Disney that says we got to go back to the UK to get our talent pool.
Oh yeah,
I don't know why, but
I was just thinking like Peter Cushing as Tarkin. Yeah, but poor Alec Guinness, that's what he's going to be remembered for all his life, and not something like I don't know, Bridge on the River Kwai.
oh right, yeah.
Well, Bridge on the River Kwai in and of itself was notable in and of itself, wasn't it? Right?
That's a hard movie to watch.
Is it?
It shows American POWs and how they were treated by the Japanese. Yeah, it's a pretty hard movie to actually sit there and watch.
Oh, I thought you meant the pacing.
Well, in
No.
context, yes, but
Like what it's actually about, what these men suffered under the Imperial Japanese.
But yeah, George Lucas, I mean, there were American actors too, but yeah, it was just so many. I think the original Boba Fett was even British. Guy called Daniel Logan.
That was his original Empire Strikes Back actor, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Ow.
I just remember
So-
John Boyega,
so-
when I first heard his real accent, I was like, oh my god, he's British.
Yeah. So I was gonna say about this game, it's like this game in particular is very unapologetically non-canon, but it revels in everything it does.
Like it's just doing its
Well,
own thing. Doesn't have.
Yeah.
It's Legends. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it's Legends, but at the same time, it's still good in its own right because how it establishes here is that all of the major battles that were occurring during Episode 3, this being one of them, that they were in sequence one after the other rather than happening all at the same time before Order 66.
It's kind of like Star Wars: The Force Unleashed in a way. It's like this is obviously non-canon.
Although Force Unleashed, at the very least, that game's attempts to fit were better than Battlefront, at least. I'll
Force
give them that.
Unleashed. It was basically the God of War of the Star Wars franchise.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that
That's-
because it was a really damn good game.
Honestly, I'm looking forward to Star Wars Jedi Survivor because they're adding new combat stances. Like they're going all out with the combat.
Is BioWare still in charge of that one?
Respawn, yes.
Speaking of BioWare games, the original Knights of the Old Republic.
Apparently is getting a remake. Apparently.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get
I've
screwed
heard-
over by the agenda.
Are they
Maybe.
going to just change a bunch of stuff?
Well, we heard news last year, but we haven't heard anything in a while, so we're not sure what exactly is going on.
Because the person that was gonna write us, like she outright said on Twitter, so like, yeah, I don't care for the original game, but I'm still grateful that I'm playing on this one, working on this one. It's like, okay, then why are you here? Get out of here. If you're not if you're
It's also possible that she's just going to be like, yeah, you're just there for the face of it. You're not actually in charge of anything.
yeah, that's what it is.
And that's
You're
when
just-
you could do stuff like the amnesia plot and just have your mind blown away by the you know, at that point, it's like the revelation was like, what? Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to spoil anything, but
For what specifically? For the KOTOR remake?
Amnesia: The Dark Descent, you said?
no, for the fact that when Revan, you find out who Revan really
you
is.
know what? The game is old enough. I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
Raven. He's actually he's a former Sith.
Yeah.
It's the fact that I'm at this point I'm still Kiadi Mundi, but I died immediately.
Now I do like how that tied in though to the fact that was Krea's entire problem with the Force was like the Force is just going to pick and choose who's going to be Jedi and Sith, and there's really no knowing why the Force does that.
Well, that goes as far back as the episode 1 where they retcon the Force as being determined by midi-chlorians.
Oh yeah. That-
Okay, yeah, actually they retconned
You
that
can't-
in the Netflix season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. It's like the Avatars of the Force, where he went to the home world of where the Force originates. The midichlorians are literally just the physical presence of the Force. The physical presence of the Force. Something your science calls midichlorians. In other words, it's like, yeah, it's literally just somebody trying to explain it in a physical sense. It
So-
doesn't matter.
Although,
the God particles.
hey, I'll take
Yes,
that.
it's just an explanation. It's just scientists trying to find an explanation to something they don't really understand. Don't think too hard about it.
Although I'll take that over the original explanation of just midichlorians exist, because at least that episode tried to rectify both the original explanation of the Force and the midichlorians into something that can make a little more sense.
Honestly, and it does make sense. Like, midichlorians are just the physical presence of the Force. They're in every living thing. Don't
They're
think
just-
too hard about it.
Yeah,
They're just there.
they're just an indicator.
They're just
They're
there.
Yeah, they're not the Force. They're just an indicator for that the Force is present in this being. That's it.
It is the physical presence of it. Just don't think too hard about it.
Exactly. It doesn't go any further from there.
And that is Dave Filoni's writing.
Remember, originally the theory was that based on what was established in that episode. Episode 1 was that it was Palpatine with him talking about who was it? The Sith
Darth-
Lord Plagueis.
Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Yeah, the theory was that either Plagueis or he was the one who created Darth Vader, basically caused the midichlorians to I don't know, put them in Shmi somehow.
Yes. In episode 3, Palpatine was talking with Anakin about it. Darth Plagueis was so powerful in the Force, he could influence the very physical presence of the Force to create life.
Yeah, so it's implied is that he did that to Shmi Skywalker.
Yes, but the Force, trying to spite Plagueis for his whatever he was doing, created Anakin to destroy him, which ultimately Palpatine destroyed Plagueis and then manipulated and groomed Anakin.
That reminded me of this clip from Stargate. I don't know if you remember this, Smud. It was season 9, I think it was, where the character Claudia Black was.
Before you say that, Jedi Starfighter, right there.
Cool.
That's actually a proper Jedi Starfighter. That's not the prototype model.
Yeah, but go ahead with Stargate.
So, the actress Claudia Black, her character was pregnant, and she was conceived by the enemy of that season, which was the Ori, through the same way. Like she didn't get with a guy. She was just like impregnated through this magical, force, I guess. And she's asking the other team members, "Have you ever heard of anything like this?" And Christopher Judge Teal'c goes, "Darth Vader."
Really?
Yeah, they have a few jokes like that with Darth Vader that Teal'c keeps referencing.
Remind me, do you happen to remember what season that was?
It was season 9, I think it was. No, season 9, I think it was.
SG-1, right?
Yeah, SG-1.
Okay.
It's just the way he says it is just like, he's just like Darth Vader. He's just like so serious. And they all just kind of look at each other and I forget that actor's name from Farscape, Ben Browder, I think.
Yes.
He goes, "Well, I was thinking of King Arthur." But yeah, that just always like struck me as funny. Is like, wow. I mean, they do acknowledge that Star Wars is a movie in their universe, in Stargate universe.
Yeah, I think they've done it with something else, but I can't remember what it was exactly.
They've brought it up a couple of times. Richard Dean Anderson made like a couple of jokes when they went back in time to 1969. He made like several jokes that when he was interrogated by the military.
That was
like, "Who are you?"
the episode. That was the episode when they traveled back in time to when they met young Hammond.
Yes, 1969 was the name of the episode.
Okay.
And the interrogator asks him for his name, and he goes, I think he gives him James T. Kirk at first, and then he's like, "Listen, I've been lying to you. My name is actually Skywalker, Luke Skywalker." And of course, it's 1969, so this guy has no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, Star Wars was still 8 years away?
77.
Yeah, 77. It was 8 years away at that point. Star Trek had just ended by that point, by the way. Ow.
Yep.
Well, was Thread not supposed to be on this call? I don't recall, but anyway,
I'd asked him, but he didn't give me a response.
Okay. Well, he's busy, but he did send a super chat. Let me read that for you guys. Before Disney Star Wars, just about everything in Star Wars was canon, and even the bad stuff was built upon as a foundation for far better things. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of novels that no one remembers that people went and said, okay, these writers just were given leeway to do what they wanted, but no one took them seriously. And there's a few comics.
The Thrawn trilogy.
Well,
the Thrawn trilogy, yeah.
People like that, but there were like the clones of Luke, which I don't know where that went.
Dark Empire or something?
There was also a retcon that the Empire at War game had established, because even before Disney Star Wars, there had been already at least a couple versions of the story of the Rebels stealing the Death Star plans. And Empire at War established the retcon that the Death Star plans were in fragments, and that anytime someone stole the plans, it was a fragment until they were all brought together, and the full plans were then given to Leia at the beginning of A New Hope.
Another retcon
because I I
it
remember.
was
I know
stolen by a Imperial defector.
that was Dark Forces, Cal Katarn. Like that was the first instance of it being specifically defined. A person stealing the Death Star plans for the rebellion.
Well, the thing I wanted to bring up was the fact that even though no one really likes or remembers that story about the various Lukes out there, we do have the concept that cloning in the Star Wars universe is not rare, but when you try and clone a Force user, it's a big deal. It's almost never going to happen. And that's where we got...
It's incredibly difficult.
Right, and that's where we got the whole Star Killer story for... Was it Force Unleashed?
Force Unleashed 2, because the first game ends with the confrontation between Starkiller and Palpatine. Supposedly, he dies, and they try to explain it in Force Unleashed 2 that he's either the real Starkiller brought back from the dead, or the one you play as a clone.
Right.
And then that gets messy and weird because there's an ending where this other Star Killer shows up and kills you, and then the DLC establishes he's not loyal to the Empire. It's
Right.
like it's weird.
Yeah, the Force
and then there
Unleashed-
was never a third installment of the Force Unleashed.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
it did a lot of crazy things that was lore breaking, but a lot of people enjoyed the game so much just because of what you could do in them. So even though
Don't think too hard about it.
Yeah, you're not supposed to go, okay, wait a second, did you just kill Han Solo? Like, did this just really happen? So a lot of stuff happens in the game that people are like, okay, that can't be lore compliant. But
there were
pulling a Star Destroyer out of the sky.
yeah, big
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, not
remember
everything from that period was canon. Things like I think that like the Kyle Katarn games were considered canon. At least get down. At least as to a certain capacity. So for the sake of having an explanation for who stole the Death Star plans and who gave them to the early rebellion.
You know, you're talking about some weird connections. This is kind of random, but you know in Willow they have the Wisties, the fairies.
Yeah.
Those also show up in the Ewok movies, which implies that the Willow universe and the Star Wars universe are both canonically connected.
I mean, in E.T. for the extraterrestrial, E.T. recognizes a kid in a Yoda costume, and then in one of the prequel trilogies, you can see E.T.'s species just kind of down there in the corner cheering on Palpatine.
Yeah,
Wasn't that Phantom Menace where they did that?
I think so.
Well, part of it was because that it was mainly from the fact that ILM did both movies. So,
Like also, that is just meant to be that is just supposed to be kind of just a little tongue-in-cheek nod.
yeah.
But that does establish that E.T. is from the Star Wars universe.
right.
I could believe that.
Nothing wrong with that though.
It's already big, crazy, and large enough that you can constitute.
I mean, you have a race of Force witches that can animate the dead and turn them into frickin' zombie puppets to attack trespassers. This is canon.
The aliens from Close Encounters of the Third Kind were supposed to be modeled, or no, the ones in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, the ones that actually do the cloning, modeled after those ones.
Oh, the
Cool.
Kaminoans. The Kaminoans.
Yeah.
I have a question about that whole cloning thing. Like, I know that they brought the whole cloning thing up in the prequels, but like, did they ever like use the cloning, like those guys again, like in the universe?
Funny how you mentioned that, because within the continuity of Battlefront 2, this game, it's like the way they explain the clones, specifically the 501st, for the sake of having an excuse to play during the Empire era. It's the fact that the 501st stay as Vader's personal squad, but they also bring in the clone rebellion from Commando, which is still the old clones alive and kicking, and that after that they say that the Empire began using different templates for other sections of the Stormtrooper army, but the 501st stayed as Jango clones.
Yes.
Well,
the reason the Empire stopped the cloning process is because they ran out of genetic material from Jango Fett. And when you try to
deteriorate too, clones deteriorate over time.
Yes,
Yeah,
because in their cloning
grown.
process, they were artificially grown and aged, so they age faster into adulthood to be a soldier. The problem is they also age faster into death.
Exactly.
And they go insane too after a while because of brain degeneracy.
Yes,
Well,
Jesus.
That
Not all of them, but yeah.
that had to do with the implant chip that causes Order 66 to go.
I was about to bring up the chip. Wasn't that a Disney continuity thing?
That was established in the Netflix season of Clone Wars, where Order 66 is an inhibitor chip inside, but when it's discovered, they sweep that under the rug, saying the inhibitor chip is to diminish Jango's aggressive tendencies.
You mean season 7, right?
Yes, the Netflix season, not the Disney Plus season. There was a season of Clone Wars on Netflix.
Season 7 was on Netflix?
There was a season. It's more like a 6.5 because it never finished.
Was it the season or was it the movie?
No, there was a Netflix season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Okay. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Before Disney bought it out, when it was canceled on taken off Cartoon Network and went on to Netflix, and they had one more. They had an unfinished season.
Does Disney when the what is it, Jenny Tartarovsky, his Clone Wars movie,
Gendy,
was that
Gendy,
is that canon?
I don't think. I think it was replaced by the CG one after the fact.
One of those things that we're supposed to kill people in the Geonosis arena pit.
Yeah. You mentioned,
Honestly,
to bring
that
back,
makes me think of when they're all on the post fixing to be killed. It's like, what about Padme? She seems to be on top of things. She's already picked the lock on her shackles and climbed up top.
Yeah. To bring up the inhibitor chip again, I think that was that was absolutely reinforced by the Disney canon because at the time of Battlefront 2 in this game they say that the 501st, specifically the 501st, had already known about Order 66 by the time it happened.
So there's actually, speaking of Order 66, there was a clone in canon named CT-6666. Sixes, as he was called. And Tenacity does not even begin to describe this clone.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when Order 66 called out, he told Palpatine to fuck off. I don't take orders from you. I didn't know you were on this channel, Sixes. I'm sorry.
What was his name? What was his designation again?
6666.
Oh, six. Oh. Wait. Oh, just a number, or what were his letters though?
Clone Trooper 6666. He was not an ARC Trooper. He was just a clone trooper.
I would have thought that CT would have meant Chad Trooper with that.
I mean, definitely a Chad move. It's like this clone squared up against both Count Dooku and General Grievous and won.
And won, exactly. I remember that now.
Like, he's only in comic appearances. He never had a TV appearance, unfortunately, but Tenacity, good God.
So what was Order 69 then?
Oh, no. No, 66 was the last one, thankfully.
I actually think there was an Order, like, 65 or 67, which was a contingency plan for himself.
Did we ever talk about Order 99 that Dooku tested out?
Give me a moment to check on something. You guys keep talking about that.
I will dig that up on my phone.
Yeah, I remember I can't remember who he did it against, though. Like, he had a dummy project to see what would happen, so they would test out before they actually went ahead with Order 66. So, I'm trying to remember the history behind that, though. It was never brought up in any of the...
You said it was Order 99?
Yeah.
I never heard of that. Of course, most of my information is from the OT and
Order 99 is designed by Sidious and its sole purpose to contain or exterminate the Separatist Alliance if anything else failed. Once Order 99 has been commanded to the battle droids, their systems would restart. Then all battle droids would open fire on any member of the Separatist Alliance.
Oh, I remember. It was a droid that actually he wanted to be a leader for the rebels, I think.
For the Republic. Somehow, Order 99 got triggered in him and he turned on the Separatist Alliance.
I think it was a comic book. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the visuals of this freedom fighter who was just a basic battle droid. Yeah, so there's all kinds of wonderful stories that we don't get because no one bothered to incorporate them or just forgot about them.
Okay, and apparently there is an Order 67, which was one made by accident, where the clones will start dancing uncontrollably.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus.
Oh, God. Oh, I loved it.
Is that
And
for
there-
real?
Apparently. Wait, that may be a Legends thing, but Wikipedia fandom. Okay. Order 35. Keep those meddling kids away from Anakin.
What?
I was going to
Order
say what
36,
kids, but then I
keep
remembered.
Order 36. Keep Palpatine's office clean.
Wasn't there like a
Remove
robot
slice
chicken where that
appendages.
happens, where he's like, he
Yeah,
comes
he's
back and the
dancing
Emperor.
and singing it.
Oh, I was thinking
Yes.
like the Emperor was like, well, geez, you didn't have to kill the kids.
Capture me a Wookiee. Kick a put apprentice into
That's
cookie.
the one.
Yeah, I love
That's
that.
the one.
Order 37. Never make eye contact.
With who?
In general.
Oh. Just
Order 38. Never call Palpatine Sheev. Oh, God, I love this. And then Order 65. If the majority of the Senate or the Security Council declared that Supreme Chancellor at that time, Palpatine, was unfit for duty, the Chancellor was to be arrested or killed. So 65 was implemented by the Republic, by the corrupt Republic senators who were ready to turn on Palpatine if necessary.
would have loved to seen how that went.
Yeah, that's something that the
Well, I mean, considering
Tales
what
of
we
the
know
Jedi-
about Palpatine, you know.
yeah, that's something that Tales of the Jedi actually covers, because especially with Dooku's arc in there, it showed that the Republic senators were corrupt beyond redemption.
This sounds like this could be like the establishment for all these fan fictions. Like, what if this order had been enacted? What if that order had been enacted?
Yeah, that definitely could be, but it's especially with Dooku's conversation with Obi-Wan on Geonosis, it definitely hits a lot harder when you have seen Tales of the Jedi and why Dooku turned on the Republic and the Jedi. The Republic was corrupt and the Jedi Council was content with it. They were complacent.
All right, here's a super chat from the Copper Owl. Thank you, sir. Rebels equals Viet Cong, Empire equals USA, and Death Star equals Fat Man.
That's based on an interview that James Cameron had with Lucas and a bunch of other quotes that Lucas has made over the years. But the context was James Cameron asked him, like, you were doing something interesting with the Rebel Alliance in Star Wars, said something to the effect of the rebels were the underdogs or they were using guerrilla tactics and all this. And he's like, don't they call these people terrorists nowadays? And then he goes, oh, in my days, Lucas says, in my days, they were called Viet Cong, which implies further that the USA is the Empire. And Death Star, I guess Death Star is just basically the kill switch, except we didn't nuke Vietnam. But
Okay, there's a little more to it than that. The United States was aiding the southern Vietnamese rebels against the northern communist Viet Cong.
yeah, we were.
All right, so what did I miss?
Not much.
But
Politics.
it was more of a thematic thing for him. He wanted to compare it to like the revolutionaries, like against the British in American history, things like that. That's kind of what he said he was going for. It makes a little bit of sense, just given the era that Lucas grew up in, why he would do thematics like that. I mean, if you've ever seen American Graffiti, that was supposed to be like a precursor before JFK was assassinated and before we went to Vietnam and all this other stuff.
I was going to point out before I had to check on something quick. For the mods I'm using, they replaced the clone commander with literally the Republic Commando.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, actually, Republic Commando, that was another thing, they didn't use the same clone for all of them, did they? Because the voices were different? Or?
No. Well, they are all still clones. I think the leading theory is the fact that for that specific squad, they all those 4 went through genetic mutation for the sake of for more specialization for them.
I think correct me if I'm wrong. I think that the clone commandos, at least the original ones, were personally trained by Jango Fett.
Was that the
it's either
explanation, or
it's either the commandos or the original ARC troopers were trained personally by Jango Fett.
I think the ARC troopers. It was like that the Republic Commando Squad. I think that was what was their name? Boss, Scorch, Fixer, and Sev. And
Yeah, those were the original ARC troopers were personally trained by
Republic Commando, the Commandos. Yeah.
Yeah, the original ARC troopers were the ones who were personally trained by Jango Fett, trained and selected by Jango.
Yeah. Hey.
Now I know Tamura Morrison voiced the Delta 38.
He voiced Boss, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think Scorch, someone might get a kick out of this one. Scorch was voiced by the same guy that did Caden in Mass Effect.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was Scorch. I don't know who did Fixer and Sev though. Those are unknown to me. Ow.
Funny thing is, he did the voice for Cartho Nassi as well.
In KOTOR, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, it's Mr. Sbar. I can never pronounce his name. It says Sbarge. Is it Barge or Sibarge? I don't know.
For KOTOR?
Yeah, Caden, the guy.
But yeah.
Voice actor.
Raphael Sbarge, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he
that-
was Caden, Delta, and Karth.
Yeah, Scorch from Commando, yeah.
Now, does that have anything to do with the video game, or that's just its own creation?
Republic Commando is another game, yeah.
Yeah.
And a really damn good for first-person shooter.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking even the Call of Duty stuff.
I can't get the game to launch. I think it has to do. I think my antivirus software hates the DRM that it uses.
There is a specific fix executable, like a mini mod for it to get it working. That's what I used.
Okay. Because I think it has to do that. I think a lot of DRM is incompatible with popular antivirus software.
Well, that was one of the games that had like the infamous GameSpy software, which is why the old Battlefront games have a mod for it, like a specific Battlefront community that has like a modded exe to take out the GameSpy stuff.
Yeah.
For private servers and everything. So needless to say, Star Wars has a pretty good track record of games for the most part.
Yeah.
I liked all the weapons in Republic Commandos. I like the fact that the Wookiees also, they were larger, they were more bestial.
Oh yeah, they had a mission entirely dedicated to the assault to the fight on Kashyyyk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fun fact. Episode 6, the Ewoks, those were supposed to be Wookiee.
Yes.
They were, really?
Yes, that was supposed to be Wookiee, but George Lucas decided to go with Vietnamese teddy bears.
Because
One of
Kinder
the-
Bars were popular during the time too.
Yeah. One of the worst mistakes Lucas ever made with the Star Wars property. That and the holiday special.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's hilarious that the Wookiee are fucking feral little monsters.
It makes it with what you mean the Ewoks or the Wookiees?
Yes, I think it's hilarious that the Ewok are fucking feral little monsters that the Empire and Rebellion are terrified of.
I mean, is it any wonder that this game omits the Battle of Endor partly for that reason?
Yeah. I think that's hilarious, honestly.
Have they actually put the Ewoks into any other current or recent Star Wars production?
EA Battlefront 2, they have. You can play
Yeah.
as an
Oh yeah,
Ewok.
the newer one.
The hunt mode is like one of the maps is Endor, where it's just like
It's honestly one of the most terrifying and hilarious things out there because when you're killed by an Ewok, you join the Ewok team and you have the advantage in numbers.
so it's basically it's basically a horror game at that point.
Yes, because it's pitch black. The only way the stormtroopers can see is with a flashlight that has limited battery. Oh, and
Yeah,
the Ewok can see in the dark, have a rallying cry, and can track your ass down.
I mean, I saw what's his name, Russian Badger. He was talking about the Star Wars Battlefront game, and he played that mode with his buddies. And yes, they mentioned the Viet Cong.
The Viet Cong.
The fandom
They were yelling, "GI, go home!"
Yeah. Oh, and they have dubbed it as it has been dubbed by the fandom as Space Nom.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, also, I just noticed. Hello, Wisp.
How's it going?
Hey, Wisp.
Welcome.
I'm late. I see
It's
you
fine.
have fun.
So, speaking positively about Star Wars for fucking once.
A rare occurrence.
That is still possible.
Well, I mean, look at the game on screen. It says like this was back
Yeah.
during the peak of Star
Yeah.
Wars.
It's the very game I missed in my youth. It was just in that time where I couldn't use PC
Wait, don't I-
for gaming.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any reviews for The Mandalorian, but I think season 3 just came out, right?
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw
It's the blandest opening of a season I have ever seen. It's just setups for quests and going through. Here is an encounter we will see this season.
And what was
it's
this?
So
Mandalorian.
boring.
Mandalorian.
Yeah, some of
Oh.
the takes I've seen on it, it hasn't been too good.
It's like it was written by a 5-year-old.
You know, I have not actually seen the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian.
Don't bother.
The
I've only
first
watched the
episode of
clips
the
of it.
first season is okay. After that, just don't watch it.
Exactly.
Like,
Just
I've
watch
heard
the
people-
first
I've-
episode.
I've heard
Very
people
first
like
episode.
I've heard people like those 2 scout troopers that are just talking or just shooting the shit, taking pot shots, bored, waiting on orders. Anything yet?
It's a bit
No,
funny
he's-
because they
he's
don't
still
hit
talk-
anything.
I know. It's like,
Yeah, it's damn
anything heard
shading.
anything yet? No, he's still talking, and he just killed an officer for interrupting him, so it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, but on the other hand, so those 2 stormtroopers failed to hit that bloody can right in front of them, like stormtrooper effect. But on the
Yeah.
other end, in season 3, episode 1, the magistrate or whatever he is of the now renovated town manages in a duel, like one of these Western pistol fight things where who draws first moments, to shoot the other guy's blaster out of his hand with his blaster shot without killing him. How can he do that kind of precision shot when no one else in Star Wars can hit anything?
It's because the
It's
plot
called-
required it.
It's called he's the protagonist or something.
Yeah, dude, it's called. Yeah.
Well, the question is he a
Contrived.
stormtrooper?
No.
Well, there you
He's
go.
also
then.
not a pirate, because the way the pirate ship shot at the Mandalorian is just oh, they have a target lock on us, which means like, oh, high tension, they could actually hit the ship, and
Yeah,
then
they
he
used
just
missiles.
dashes past the giant ship with its target lock, like not away from it but across it to go past it, and the turrets just fire in random directions. Like off screen, like to the right and to the left, but not at the fucking ship.
I will say, if you have an hour to kill, I would recommend Tales of the Jedi. That was actually really good.
Not a fan film?
And that's
no, that's on. That was. It's a little mini series on Disney Plus. Each episode's only like 10 minutes long.
yeah, from before even the prequels. That's when it takes place.
Yeah. Actually, it takes place before the prequels, during the prequels, and right before orders and after Order 66.
Yeah, doesn't it? Okay, yeah, because I was gonna ask you, doesn't that doesn't a good chunk of it focus on Dooku as well?
Yes. It both shows him as a Jedi Master to Qui-Gon. It shows him on a mission with Mace Windu to investigate the death of another Jedi. And then it shows why he left the Order. There's one episode that takes place during Episode 1, where Qui-Gon encounters Darth Maul and tries to warn the Jedi Council, and they tell him, no, that wasn't a Sith, you fought You don't know what you saw. They just gaslight Qui-Gon Jinn into thinking he's crazy.
It's like you're delusional.
Yes. The Sith have been extinct for millennia. I fought a warrior with a double-bladed red lightsaber who was able to use the Force. I'm pretty damn sure that was a Sith.
Yeah.
Do you have the robot legs at that point?
No, this was during episode 1.
Oh, okay. So it was
It's right
it was
before Qui-Gon is killed. And yes, Liam Neeson does reprise his role as Qui-Gon Jinn.
In Tales of the Jedi? Really?
Nice.
Yes, they get
Wow.
Liam Neeson.
I think there was an episode where of the Clone Wars show where he does show up as a Force ghost. I don't know if that was Liam Neeson.
Yes, that I think it was, and yes, that was the Netflix season.
No.
It's actually he actually
Early on.
teaches Yoda.
No, not there. There was a Force Ghost Qui-Gon appearance like earlier on in the show at like the planet where Obi-Wan and Anakin are stranded.
Oh yeah, that's a weird episode, and he was kind of there, but kind of wasn't there. And I think that was Liam Neeson. That's a weird episode. That's a good mini arc of that series, though.
Yeah, it gives a little bit of closure to the both of them in that case.
Yeah, and there is an episode that focuses on Ahsoka's training.
Yeah.
The Jedi training, they deflect blaster bolts at them little droid pod things. She's memorized the attack patterns. She knows their tricks, and she's showboating, spinning around, doing flips, deflecting them, impresses the trainers, the people watching, to give her a pass on the trial. Anakin's not impressed.
I want to get your guys'
Droid-
take on that too. Do you guys see Ahsoka as being a Mary Sue?
No,
No.
No, not at all.
because she actually has to train, and that's where I'm going to go into. Anakin's not impressed with her. Anyone can train against droids. They're predictable and follow a pattern. You want to really impress me, train against the 501st. Setting their blasters to stun. He's training her, and they stun her every single time. It's a little better each time, but it shows that she get to that training regimen.
Yeah,
Because she
her
wants to
entire
impress Anakin.
show, the entire Clone Wars show is Ahsoka is the protagonist of it, not Anakin. And
Basically.
the entire show is her path from an untrained, naive child to a wise Jedi Master herself,
Exactly.
which culminates in her deciding against the Jedi Order, to leave the Jedi Order, because that is what a real Jedi at the point of the Jedi Order being corrupt would do.
Yeah, they screwed her and threw her under the bus. It's just like, no, I'm not coming back.
It's especially with on her path to that, she met this really old Jedi Master who had a white lightsaber in his hidden in his cane, his walking stick, and I think with him she had the talk that brought her into questioning things more.
I also like the episode where she has to
Standing up
hang
for
out
herself
with the old Jedi who has the lightsaber in his cane, where he basically teaches her, be patient, slow down. Rushing is not going to help you in this. And like, that's a fun episode. It's a good life lesson. And frankly put, I kind of like his wisecracks.
Yeah, that guy came in too late.
But Tales of the Jedi, she's training against the 501st to predict not when a droid's is programmed to pull the trigger, but when an actual person, she has to use the Force to predict when someone's going to fire to protect herself.
Yep.
And that's how she was able to survive Order 66, because she dedicated her training to reading people, not droids. Any other Jedi that survived Order 66 got lucky.
Yep.
And then there is an episode that focuses on Ahsoka in hiding under Imperial occupation. An Imperial loyalist blows her cover and brings an Inquisitor there, and he does Inquisitor things.
As they do.
It's like, the Inquisitors are assholes.
No, really, you think?
It's like, and my God, he's menacing as hell. Like, the animation is great in this. It's only 10 minutes long, but he ignites the second blade and the lightsaber digs into the ground, and it's carving into the ground as he's walking toward her. If you have a Disney Plus account, I highly recommend watching Tales of the Jedi. It is incredible.
Is there any place else you could get it? Just under the table?
I forget the name of the website, but there is it's what Watch Cartoon Online turned into, where you could watch it there in an unlegitimate means, and I'm not gonna condone it, but I'm not gonna tell you not to do it.
It just exists, right?
Yeah, it just exists. I don't condone you using that platform in any way, shape, or form. But you could definitely, with enough Google searching, you could definitely find it.
Yep, we're just saying it exists. So these are the early Star Destroyers you're landing in, right?
Yes.
Yes, I think these are Trade Federation.
We're all
The one that
already
just came from was a Trade Federation, or
we're already
not
well
Trade
into
Federation, fucking Separatist.
Separatists, which we're
Ironically, the Separatist Star Destroyers and Battlecraft would be a lot of what the Rebels actually use during the Imperial War.
Yeah, yes, the irony.
Which actually that does make sense. The Separatist alliance did turn into the Rebel alliance.
Yeah, we're already well into episode 3 at this point. We're just about to do the battle on Kashyyyk.
Because I remember there was one. It was in the extended Legends universe. It was the largest Star Destroyer ever made, and it was actually you could probably put a city inside of it.
Wow.
So it's the less we talk about the damn dreadnoughts, the better.
The dreadnoughts.
PLJ. Ugh.
No. This one was a different one. It was similar to the one that Darth Vader used, the Executor, but it was bigger than that. It was something stolen by somebody else. The Eclipse, that's what it was called.
The Last Jedi does not come off of The Force Awakens very well at all. It feels like there's a movie in the middle that's missing from the canon.
You don't say.
Or a couple of
like elements of Last Jedi could definitely work in the Star Wars universe. The issue is the storytelling.
Yeah, no, duh.
Honestly,
The
I
whole
kind of like.
subplot. We're running out of gas.
Okay, honestly, I don't really mind the whole fuel issue. Like, fuel has always been a thing in Star Wars.
Yeah, but like if you're like a casual person who has only seen the movies, hasn't like watched or read any of the other media, that comes out of nowhere.
Not really. In episode 4,
but I mean, like if you're not paying attention.
Hold on. One at a time. Hold on.
Sorry. Go ahead.
And also in episode 4, it's implied that the reason I'm trying to think of it, Han Solo had to go back and deliver his payment to Jabba the Hutt is because he didn't have enough fuel to get there and get back to the Death Star. He made a choice to go to use his fuel to go to the Death Star.
Yeah, and fair point.
When they're going to assault the Death Star, you see them fueling up the X-Wings. It's like these, yes, larger frigate and destroyer class ships ran on reactors. Actual fighters and bombers had fuel.
I guess it was just weird to hear them actually say that they were running out of gas. Well, not
acknowledge it, yeah.
Yeah, acknowledge it is basically. It was just so weird to hear them actually say it.
It never bothered me because it's just there's logic in that. I get it.
But most of that stuff you probably hear in Star Trek. Star Wars was more concerned with just general things.
Yeah,
I think it's the best way to put it.
Yeah, the difference between science fiction and sci-fi, the elements of Star Trek are trying to root themselves in some element of fictional science or theoretical astrophysics, so that when you have particles like tachyons or whatever, they can create a technology around that. In Star Trek or Star Wars, you have turbo lasers and concussion missiles and whatever.
Hyperdrive.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be some big technical accurate thing. It's supposed to get you going to keep going the next scene, so your brain goes, oh, that's cool. And, oh, that's cool too. It just keeps going and going. So those little
Like there is a valid explanation to all the technology in Star Wars, but yeah, the more casual fan isn't going to be too versed in that.
Yeah,
Right.
I'd be more concerned with stuff like the fact that we have the First Order and they're still as powerful as the Empire were, despite all the victories the Rebel Alliance were making. It's like, should they be this powerful now? Like, you know,
I mean, the First
Yeah.
Order really pisses me off because why is it the First Order and the Resistance? First Order makes sense. There were people who had lived very prosperous, fulfilling lives under the Empire. There would definitely be Imperial loyalists, so
Yeah.
they could become the First Order.
Well,
But
there's
it should
also-
be the First Order against the new Republic. It should be a new civil war, not a new rebellion.
there was
Exactly.
also the fact that the original Death Star was built in secret, and it was specifically built in secret because if word had gotten out, you know, the Senate would have been up in arms. They would have been like, what are y'all doing?
Like what the?
But-
like, are you out of your freaking mind?
But then they build a new one out of this planet, and you're thinking, how did they do that? Like, you have to carve out an entire planet.
Oh yeah, Star Killer.
Yeah.
Star
Yeah,
Killer
like-
base.
Like,
That's
where
a
are they
cool
moving all of
concept.
that? Where are they
That's a
moving
cool-
all the planet to?
Like that's a
Exactly.
cool concept and idea, but there's no explanation to it. It's just there. It's just a
Well,
bigger,
yeah,
badder Death
that's,
Star.
That's where we get
Well,
the
that-
whole sci-fi element, because when you think about what that thing can actually do, which is suck out all of the energy of a star,
I was just gonna say that.
which is so astronomically huge, and the amount of energy and heat and thermal energy and nuclear energy, all this stuff, all to do one attack. Like that thing could annihilate multiple
Entire solar systems.
No, it would do several thousand solar systems. Like it would just completely annihilate like
Everything.
Well, okay, the distance is the issue, but because that you're using an entire star of this concentrated gas that's so
Yeah.
dense and has so much power in it, how you even control that? And this is where we talk about
How do you store it?
How do you store a star inside a planet that's smaller than the star?
Exactly. Like energy is a finite resource.
Exactly. It's the weird.
That
Yeah,
would still-
we can make energy, we can generate energy, but we have to store that energy in something to use it.
which is why it makes no sense.
well, it's the manipulation
Yeah.
of this.
You would have some gravity issues with that, I would believe.
Well, not
Yeah.
only that. Like, yes, you're talking about storing all that energy, but once you use it, you have to do it again. You
Where's
know,
the stars? You just
well,
freaking
no,
killed like six of them.
you have to suck up another star just to use the damn thing again.
Not only that, you gotta find another one to suck up.
Well, technically, you would have plenty of energy left over, but to even do that, the science behind that would have to be some sort of exposition saying, okay, we've learned how to create fields that can manipulate the core of a star, and we can make it less dangerous and use maximum energy, minimum effort.
That's
or
why
whatever.
I'm going to give Disney Wars some credit with the Death Star, because it's just explained as, yeah, we're just mining kyber crystals.
Well,
Yeah, I bet my
The Death
problem
Star
still
laser
is
is powered by kyber. It makes sense.
how did they do this all in secret too? Like all the stuff that would be required to build this is you draw the attention of someone somewhere because you'd have to get payloads of whatever materials you need to build this stuff.
Kill whoever starts running their mouth. That's how you keep it in secret.
Yeah, but this is the Empire, and in a weak state. Given the Empire, the Emperor's is supposed to be dead. Darth Vader's gone.
Yeah.
Tarkin's dead. Like so, they should be crippled. Yet they're doing all of this in secret and building something that's even more powerful than the Death Star. I just don't buy it.
Not just more
No.
powerful, but bigger. More
Yeah, I don't
resource
buy
intense.
that. The Death Star I can buy because people start running their mouths, they start disappearing. So if you know, keep your fucking mouth shut.
And I also don't understand what Luke is supposed to do either. It's like, okay, we got to get Luke back. It's like, what's Luke supposed to do that you all can't do?
I have another
Yeah.
question for the big science doomsday weapons. How does this fit into the continuity with what was the name? Rogue One, destroying the archive planet,
Well, they
where all the
already-
super secret doomsday plans are stored.
Well, they already stole the Death Star plans.
Scarif.
Yeah, Scarif. That got out. So Tarkin, now taking command from Krennic, it's like, okay, we're wiping the slate clean. Keep your mouths shut. Anyone on that planet, we're gonna blame it on the rebels.
Yeah, but
One
where do
radioactive
they
power, it
have a
was just
copy
in-
of all these other secret Super Doomsday projects?
They
Yeah,
don't. That's the
yeah.
point.
Yeah, but
And
that's
how
where
do they build this shit?
exactly. That's where the problem I have. It's like this is the only place they have this kind of shit. It's like where are all the other places that have all these secrets? Come on, man.
And remember
I guess
that
you
in
could argue
KOTOR,
that they've got other facilities, and if they built one Death Star, they can remember how to build another one.
remember in KOTOR, one of the great things about the story was they explained it with a magical space station called the Starforge, where it just makes all the stuff you need to wage a war. So
Yeah.
And that was like Forerunner technology, or Forerunner just borrowing a term from Halo, because that's
Yeah.
basically what those aliens were.
right, but
Yeah,
the
yes, it
idea
has.
that
Well, it has an actual perpetuum mobile in it.
it has an explanation. It doesn't have to be well explained. It doesn't have to have all this backstory.
I can accept a Death Star 2 in Episode 6, because especially since the original screenplay, the original script of Star Wars, the series was supposed to end with the destruction of a Death Star. They didn't know Death Star was going to become so popular where they get all these sequels and spin-offs.
Mm-hmm.
It was a low-budget film.
Pretty much.
That's why it had a conclusive ending. The Death Star's blown up, the Imperial superweapon's gone. They have a fighting chance now. Connect the dots on your own if the movie didn't make a sequel.
All right, here's a super chat from Copperell. Thank you, sir. Rebels use World War II German weapons while the Empire uses the British ones.
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, Han Solo's blaster pistol, that's a C-96 Mauser handgun.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
I would absolutely
Was the
love...
Empire right after all?
No.
No. Oh, well.
They were using Stens. They must be right. They're cheaper. Okay, fine.
See,
Also,
Palpatine should have just told us about the U-1 Gong.
Honestly, I think the L explanation behind a Sten gun is hilarious. It was cheaper to manufacture than the Thompson submachine gun, and it was a hell of a lot lighter weight. And the stock is basically just a fucking coat hanger.
Yeah, it's great. Great design.
Yeah, the Sten was cheaper.
And it's like when you fucking burned through one Sten, throw it away, grab another one.
I do know that one of the places I worked downtown called Liberty Village, the reason why it was called Liberty Village is we manufactured ammunition for the Sten. So
Cool.
I know. I don't know what Canada had to do with the British military in that time period, but it was a technical colony of the Empire. So
God save the Queen.
yeah, call out the colonies, make us ammunition for them. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I want that line. God save the Queen. We go get all alone for this last one.
And now I'm just thinking of the friggin' South Park episode with Megan and Harry. We want our privacy.
Okay, get out of here with that. It's like
We're not going to talk about. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but that's hilarious.
no, I mean specifically in the fact that they could not have proven the point more than when they complained about that.
Especially threatening a lawsuit for defamation is just like
Sure.
kind of proving the point.
But look, Harry's gonna talk about his therapist.
He's written it all about it in his new book. Wah.
Exactly.
Did South Park ever do any? I can't remember anything specific that they did that was Star Wars related, except for the fact that Lucas and Spielberg they had carnal relations with Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I think it was more just South Park just made fun of Steven Spielberg and George Lucas.
Yeah.
When exactly was that? Was that like years ago or was that recent?
Yes, it was. I think it was prior to 2010.
Okay. That was probably like, what was it, with Indy 4, I guess?
Probably.
In relation to
And Indy 5 is probably going to suck. Because we have to get rid of the
Probably.
toxic stereotypes. Yes, the toxic stereotypes of killing insane fascists.
No, I'm just
What?
like, it's probably going to suck. It's guaranteed to suck at this point.
Like, what toxic stereotype is there in Indiana Jones? Killing insane fascists?
Well, what was that, Lost Ark or Crystal Skull, one of those two?
Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade, they're fighting they're dealing with Nazis. In the second one, they're just crazy cultists. In the fourth one, which I actually do like the fourth one, they're dealing with communists.
I just saw him on screen, General Grievous. It was so disappointing what they did with him in episode 3.
Yes. Like, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is not the best Indiana Jones movie. It's just not the worst. The worst, in my opinion, at least what we have now, is Temple of Doom.
To your point about Grievous, it's like, we have our grievances with the droid army in general in the Clone Wars.
Not intended.
It was not warranted. Well, not intended, but that's not the point. We have our complaints about how they like degraded the droid army in the Clone Wars series. In my opinion, they made up for episode 3 Grievous with the Clone Wars TV show. They made him come off as more eccentric, which honestly, at least for my money, is like that kind of did help the character.
And he is a menacing conniving, and he is a menacing villain.
It's like he's at least still skillful.
Yeah, in the Tartarovsky cartoon, he was great.
No, he was insane in that one. Then I think, what was it? And where there was an episode dedicated to Kit Fisto and his Padawan.
Yes, that's terrifying because he's hunting them in the dark, crawling around like a freaking spider.
Yeah, they gave it on a horror vibe to like to elevate Grievous more. Not in a bad way, because it's like they really brought their A game for Grievous in that episode.
Yeah,
actually putting him up against Kiadi. No,
that
putting
is
him
the
up
stuff
against
the movies
Fisto.
needed.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you wholesale.
I'm wondering if J.J. Abrams is going to still have his studio by the end of this year. Like, what is he working
Probably
on?
not.
Like, what is he doing right now?
No idea.
I don't know. There's
Smoking
been
weed.
a lot of talk lately about Star Trek, like the one with Chris Pine.
The Kelvin era.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that series lately that I've been seeing, like a lot of news stories about it. Like, is there going to be another movie? Is there not going to be another one?
Wasn't the last Kelvin movie a bit more well received than the rest, or was it just as bad?
Which one was that? That was
the latest one. The latest one from the Kelvin timeline.
That doesn't help me, Giga.
Well,
it doesn't help me at all.
I don't know jack shit about Star Trek. So
You keep seeing the Kelvin timeline, and I'm like, what?
Wait. Here's Grievous. Hello there.
There you go.
Just
For nothing.
just give me more.
That's how it
Aldrin.
should have ended.
That's how it should have ended. Fuck
That's now the canonical ending. Hello there.
Good. Hello there, dead.
Lightsaber through the chest.
All right, let's make the attempt with the Republic Commando at least. Come on, where's Grievous? There you are. Oh boy. Insta kill.
That would be a funny ending. Like Obi-Wan dies and just some random clone troopers like just happens to shoot him in the right place.
All right.
Well, you're not gonna deflect that kind of weapon.
Hell no. Gonna go Jet Trooper on these.
I'm looking up J.J. Abrams on IMDb right now.
To answer the question about J.J. Abrams, I just assumed he's like rubbing his hands greedily and scratching his nose.
No, really, I think.
What the?
Damn, it's like I for this Smudtalk playthrough of this game, I have been getting the heroes killed so much earlier than I usually do.
Oh God, I forgot about this. They're making a Half-Life movie.
Really?
Yeah, and J.J. Abrams is one of the producers.
Well, it's gonna be awful.
Yeah, but is it his studio that's making
It's in development right now.
Is it?
And Portal as well too.
I guess the
Portal-
obvious question is who's playing
Portal, the
Gordon Freeman?
movie. They're making a movie of Portal, and he's a
No.
producer as well.
No, please.
Point
no.
about
Please
Portal
no.
is that you solve puzzles. You can't do that when it's
Yeah,
a
how the hell-
movie.
Exactly. How the hell
Really? He
do you
wants to
do
make
that
a
movie?
Portal
That's
movie?
Yeah, I
It's
don't
in
know how
development, according to IMDb. He's a producer.
Like, I'll argue that you could definitely make a life movie. 'Cause that's all sci-fi alien invasion shit, but
Well,
He's
Portal?
also producing another Cloverfield sequel. It's just titled Untitled Cloverfield Sequel on IMDb.
Oh,
That's in production right now.
the Half-Life
Cloverfield's a
one.
cool concept, but
The first one was great. After that, it's like you don't have to connect it back to the first movie. You know?
honestly, the one where
funny.
that's the girl in the bunker, I think with John Goodman, I think is pretty good.
It's good, but I hate that they tried to connect it back to the first movie. You know what I mean?
But it's considering it's in the Cloverfield universe, we can connect the freaking dots that aliens are going ape shit.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
it's like, did it have to be part of that universe? Did it have to be?
It's like it can be in the same universe, but you don't have to connect it to the first movie. Aliens invade the Earth. It's Cloverfield. We get what's going on. You
think
can
that's what
see
they were-
what's going on in different parts of the country.
They were following a trend. That's what the Mummy and some other movies they were trying to do, the Dark Universe or something like that. Everyone's trying to create their own.
Oh, and
Their own
the
multiverse.
Tom Cruise movie Mummy, where they're trying to make the Dark Universe. And
Yeah.
the Dark Universe had a grand total of one movie,
Everybody's
Yeah.
got to be the MCU now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was stupid.
and even the MCU is trying to be the MCU now, and God, they're failing at it.
J.J. Abrams is also the producer for the upcoming Constantine movie, the second one
no.
with Keanu Reeves.
No.
He's also the executive producer for a Batman TV series coming
Jackass
up.
Wizard from DC, Constantine.
If I can say something quick. Oh, gee, I wonder what happens after the death of Grievous on Utapau. I wonder.
You're saying, when you say Constantine, you're talking about DC, the Jackass Constantine, right? British
No, the
Jackass.
Keanu Reeves one.
But the character is from DC.
Yeah, from
universe,
DC
right?
Comics. Yeah.
Yes.
How can you have a Constantine if he's not a British jackass?
Yeah.
I don't know. Apparently, people love the Keanu Reeves one.
I think that's
They
just because
love
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, people like Keanu Reeves. Like, he's a fine actor. He's a god.
Yeah,
he's
he
a good
is,
guy, but he's Constantine is a jackass. That's what people like about Constantine.
Yeah. But yeah, I was saying earlier, he's also J.J. Abrams is also the executive producer for an in-production TV series called Batman: Caped Crusader.
Okay.
What else? Untitled Superman Project.
Oh
Oh,
no.
Lord.
He's a producer for that.
So he's just penciling in on DC.
He doesn't
Uh,
exactly look like Constantine, but could you imagine Jason Statham as him?
Okay.
I would
I don't know if this
argue
is the same. Hold on a second.
No, Robert Downey
Oh.
Jr. probably wouldn't do too well, considering Constantine is supposed to be blonde.
Yeah, he actually shows up. He had his own series on the CW, Constantine, and they actually got a guy that actually looked like Constantine, from what I heard. You know, blonde hair and everything.
Okay.
And
Well,
that
that's
only
why he
lasted
mentioned
one
Jason
season. That only lasted one season.
Yeah.
Jason
but-
Statham's got the perfect accent too.
Here's something. I know very little about this character. Zatanna.
That's
Yeah.
Zatanna's daughter.
They're making a
Magic
movie.
Girl.
He says every
And
word
he's-
backwards.
Because
Yeah, and
she's a girl.
he's the producer for that as well too. J.J. Abrams is producer for the Zatanna movie.
She's an interesting character, actually. Honestly.
That's
movie will be
in
shit.
pre-production right now, according to IMDb.
Honestly, I was watching Young Justice, before I went to shit. The original Zatanna, who's under the influence of Dr. Fate right now. I never realized he was supposed to be Catholic. So he's actually conversing with Dr. Fate, where he starts saying why, despite everything he's been through, he's never lost faith in his religion or humanity. He has the ultimate resolve, which is partially why Dr. Fate wants to keep him as his avatar, wants to keep connected to him to be the Lord of Order.
It wasn't necessarily DC. I just know that there were some other characters they made. Like, isn't Daredevil's Catholic too, right?
Daredevil, maybe, I don't know.
I think he is.
I think Daredevil is, and I think Nightcrawler is.
I know Nightcrawler is, which is honestly hilarious to me because he looks like a Catholic.
But anyway, we're getting way off topic. We're supposed to be talking
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
if I can say, it's like this is the one mission in this campaign that wholeheartedly deserves pushing the I win button. This is the most notorious mission in the game.
You mean it's annoying?
Yes, because of this
Yeah,
section.
because
I'm
he's
in
doing
right now.
that Jedi was doing a really good job of attacking a wall.
Yeah,
Because
well,
it's the you're supposed to save the archive or something?
yes, exactly that. And it's
So
annoying.
it's It's basically an escort mission, sort of.
you
Escort
wanna-
and defense missions are often just annoying.
And you want to know why this section is so annoying? It's like on top of the bookcases being fragile.
It's not balanced
Yeah.
well.
No, the fact that the Jedi just come in like at the halfway point to
They just spawn in. They don't walk in, so you can't really defend a point.
which is why I happily gave myself access to Anakin from the start just because of this bullshit.
Okay.
Episode 3 didn't really feature you seeing Anakin kill a lot of Jedi. Not that I
No.
can remember. It would have been.
Yeah, well, the younglings.
Well, the youngling. You mean you don't see it, but like.
Heavily implied.
Yeah.
Heavily, well, yeah, because they just straight up give you the shot of the lightsaber igniting right in front of the younglings. It's blatantly obvious that he did it, just like he killed the what was it, the Tusken Raiders in episode 2,
Mhm.
and the women and the children.
I hate them.
I mean, they did kill his mother, so
Yes.
But I wasn't so sure about how he felt until he actually told me. Then I was like, oh, okay.
Now, if I may make a specific reference, like what kind of Jedi are these? Guardians of Truth and Justice, my ass.
you can't just announce. You can't just announce how your characters feel. That makes me feel angry.
Well, I'm pretty sure none of you caught the one I said. So this is from that line was from Confused Matthew's prequel reviews.
Oh Lord.
Oh, yeah, he did do a
He did the
rundown.
Of the Star Wars prequels, yes. Which I'm just like, that was like immediately following like the general consensus of the prequels. That was like not even the 2010s when he did those reviews. So I'm just like,
See, I haven't seen a video from him in so long. Did he cover the sequels as well?
Yeah, he likes TLJ, the fucker.
Oh. Betrayal.
Betrayal.
I mean, well, that doesn't make the prequels masterpieces either.
Right.
No, they have their problems, but they had consistent storytelling.
But needless to say, we can all agree with it's universal. It's pretty much fact that the Order 66 was absolutely one of the most defining one of the most defining aspects of the films.
Order 66.
Do it. Get back. He's supposed to be here.
Yeah, well, it's sad that the movies needed the flawed Clone Wars series to make them work right.
Yeah.
Better than Disney.
True.
And cheaper to make too.
I was not a fan of
throughout.
the Rebels series
Yeah, but
on Disney.
Yeah, because it got more restrictions. But what seriously pisses me off about the Clone Wars series is that throughout, from beginning to end, you see improvement in the writing, in the seriousness of it, and everything. And yet every time, and I can't remember whether it's Filoni or Favreau because the names just mix into one being in my head. Every time there's a new series, be it Rebels, be it Mandalorian, be it whatever else comes along, that they make, they just begin to make the same child disease errors, mistakes that they did in the beginning of the Clone Wars that they didn't do by the end. It's just a repeat of bad writing mistakes and bad trope use. And it's just, why? You could do well at the end of the Clone Wars. Why did you regress every damn time?
Because Disney doesn't want to take risks.
If they don't want to take risks, then do it like the end of the Clone Wars. That is good Star Wars.
Yep.
But that's dark. That's more serious. That takes risks.
No, that's what people like. If you don't want to take risks, do it serious. Embrace the R.
Well,
The hard R.
Look, if the kids show can do it, your show for adults, The Mandalorian, can do it.
Absolutely.
Dude, even this very game, like a campaign that's supposed to be like the most minuscule part of the entire experience, can give you that just Tamora Morrison like narrating over essentially machinima is can also get the job done.
Hell, and also we've seen Disney do it with Tales of the Jedi. In fact, the first episode of Tales of the Jedi is about the Ahsoka as an infant.
Yeah, they did
And
tackle
there's
that.
barely any
Oh, I heard
dialogue
about
in
that.
it. There's like it's just
Yeah, but I
it's
saw,
just
I saw
her
that.
and it's just her mother bonding with Ahsoka, and it's just
No, but I saw that episode,
nice.
and that is very sushi.
Yeah, unfortunately.
yeah. I mean, it does make sense that they would show Force abilities at a younger age. We've seen that even in the Clone Wars TV series. Clone Wars TV series. Let me finish.
No, wait.
What happened to the stream?
My game crashed. Hold on.
Oh, when we've seen it with when Cad Bane is kidnapping younglings for Sidious, you see a youngling who's not yet taken to Jedi training using the Force to play with a ball.
Luke never did shit like that.
No, but then again, he was raised to never even know what the Force is.
By the way,
So was
Gingaman,
Ahsoka.
Threadnought wants to remind you that you're a dirty cheater.
It's the Order 66 mission. It deserves to be cheated. Anyways, back up.
But honestly, that's just a small part of the actual story. You don't see that till the end. The rest of it, it's just her mother bonding with Ahsoka, and it's just kind of nice.
Definitely could have been better though.
Could have been, but the rest of the series is better.
At least. But yeah, now we're in what the game considers the rise of the Empire. We're in
The first episode of Tales of the Jedi is fine. It's okay. The rest of it is phenomenal.
Exactly. It's like that early
especially with the episode revolving around Ahsoka training and preparing to fight clones.
Yeah, that's quite a ways later on, isn't it?
No, it's the last episode. It's the second to last episode, but like I said, each episode is only like 10 minutes long.
Fair point. But yeah, this is where Battlefront 2 like really like diverges from canon. Like the Empire going out of its way to go back to Naboo, like finish the job.
And I'm going to say this. You know what really grinds my gears? When modern freaking media, like Disney Plus and some other games, give me the credit, when they show the credits, they have to show the credits for every single freaking language and localization.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Like, if I'm playing a game, an American localization of a game, I don't need to see the Chinese or the Italian or the French localization credits. And if you're playing it in Germany or the United Kingdom or France or China, you don't need to see the other country's localization.
Yeah,
you only need to see your country. You need your country. You don't care. The others don't freaking matter to you.
Exactly. Yeah, if you're outside of the U.S., just the main credits for the actual show and then your country. That's it. That's all you need.
I don't need to see the Chinese or the French or the German or the Spanish or the Italian or the Dutch localizations.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I'm not watching it. I am not watching it or a movie in that language. I'm not playing a game in that language. Ubisoft does this.
Tapping into my inner stormtrooper there.
I don't much mind the subtitles.
Well, no, it's, not the subtitles on their own. It's like the thing with the credits. Yeah, I do, and I definitely do sympathize with that a little bit. It's like I'm tired of it too.
Subtitles in other languages are fine. Like that localization's credit team when I'm playing it in the United States. I don't need that.
Hold on. I was gonna say, it's like clearly this game is non-canon because there's stormtroopers hitting their targets.
Yeah.
I know the joke's been done to death, but come on, it doesn't get old.
I think it was established that the reason Stormtrooper aim is so rough is because it's hard to see in those helmets.
I think wasn't the explanation specifically for the escape from the what was it from Vader like halfway into the mission, like when Obi-Wan dies, wasn't that?
I can't see in this thing.
No.
Yeah,
fan
people have
theory
used that.
Where, no. It was like where was it? Like so either some fan theory or Vader's secret plan.
I know what. Yeah.
Purpose.
I know what you're talking about. It's a fan theory based on the fact that Leia tells Han they let us go. And
that's really
based on that, they think that there was somehow Vader and Tarkin basically told all the stormtroopers, purposely miss your targets.
The way
That's
I've heard it, the way I've heard it is that it's just Vader that concocted that plan, and it's like, it's a stretch to say the least.
Especially since Vader didn't know Luke was his son until after the Death Star blew up.
Yeah,
but even on the face of it, it's like just shoot, but purposely miss your targets. It's like, wait a minute, like what if one of us accidentally does it? It's like it just on the face of it, there's just so much that can go wrong.
Someone had made a video on that specific thing, not only based on the Leia line. I don't think the video I saw was not based on the Leia line. It was based on a Obi-Wan line from early in the movie. It's like something about it's like only a stormtrooper would hit with that such deadly accuracy.
Well, no, that's Obi-Wan looking at the scoring at the blaster scoring on the what's it called? It's the Jawa thing, the Sandcrawler.
Exactly. The Sandcrawler. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like the video I saw on the stormtroopers missing during the escape later in the movie before Obi-Wan dies. So like that specific line you mentioned is the one that video goes off of for like that fan theory. Like some kind of like evidence for it. Where I'm just like, no, exactly no.
It's just plot armor.
Well, yeah,
the plot demands these characters live. Therefore, bad guys aren't going to hit the broadside of a barn.
Yep.
Yeah, that's been done in westerns too. Well, was it done in westerns
for ages? Yes.
Yeah. Of course, you did have exceptions like Magnificent Seven, where I think 4 or 5 of them die.
Hey!
For hell, an exception in Rogue One where the stormtroopers are gunning down K2SO.
And
Kyle Katarn, he was a stormtrooper. He's pretty good with a blaster.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why he's the main character of those games. That was the explanation for that. And what the hell? No.
What is this? Fake console? What?
I'm just like, no, just for the sake of moving on. It's like, fuck.
You're a dirty cheater.
Oh?
You're a phony! You're a big fat phony!
Notice how I started cheating as of Order 66, which is when the Empire starts taking over. So I don't think the Empire would give a flying damn.
No, probably not.
And also the second half of the 501st campaign does get cheap at times, and the previous mission is a big example of that.
You know what? Ginga cheating needs to show up in like stream memes where that meme where someone does something funny and then like you have like the picture of Anakin going, "Is it possible to learn this power?" That's the kind of meme we need to have for Ginga here. It's like Ginga opens up the cheat menu and then you have Anakin like, "Is it possible to learn this power?"
Didn't Palpatine have a response to that specific line?
Not from a Jedi.
Not from a Jedi. Yeah, that would make sense.
There's another thing that I really wish they would have turned into a game is Star Wars Crimson Empire. You guys heard of that one?
No,
I've never heard of that.
It's a story about one of the Emperor's Imperial Guard, a guy called Kier Kanos, and it basically tells the story about what he does after the Emperor dies.
Although, let me see if this works.
Oh, you mean Crayola with their staff of Raw?
Yeah.
I forgot that episode of Raw Chicken.
All right.
That's immediately who I thought of when you said the Royal Guard.
Okay, now that you mentioned,
right under the air conditioning vent. Hey, Crayola, get over here. Yeah, reach up right there with your staff of Raw and see if you can shut the vent. Bang.
All right, now let me just also add something about this like remastered graphics thing. This is how the Dark Trooper looks in this game. There we
go. Yeah, that looks better.
Yeah, I just switched it back. So yeah. The remastered Dark Trooper does not look all that hot. They do give this like remaster project does give you like skins, a whole list of skins, including the vanilla ones, which I'm just like, yeah, the Dark Trooper looks a hell of a lot better like this.
Dark Troopers, which were wasted in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neat reference to Dark Forces, but at the same time wasted.
Hey, you want to see me tempt fate? Can this day get any worse? I did that ironically. I think I'll be.
Could this day get? Yeah. Oh well. Would you say that? But could this day get any worse? Uncanny Valley Luke. From that
Yeah.
trailer. So why can't I get into this damn thing?
Fuck you, stripy bag.
There. Now I'm going.
When we were talking earlier about the one clone trooper that like basically talks smack to Palpatine, I immediately thought of that stormtrooper from Robot Chicken who closed the elevator doors on Palpatine.
1143, eat my ass. You know what? No, I'll
You know
take
what?
the
At
next
this
one.
point, the CT of his name might as well stand for Chad Trooper.
Yeah, that's what that's what a lot of fans have been dubbing him, the Chad Trooper.
Yeah, it's just like to be able to like, well, who he fought against? You tell me he fought against Dooku and General Grievous and won.
Yeah, he came out on top,
Like,
and then
again-
and then denied Order 66 and told Palpatine to fuck off.
Yeah, if that's not a Chad move in the Star Wars universe, I don't know what is.
And Vader actually remembers him favorably.
Didn't he come face to face with Vader as well?
I don't remember.
I'm just picturing a stormtrooper like getting the order for, Order 66, and he just goes, "No,
No.
I don't think I will."
No.
That's basically Kyle Katarn.
Yeah.
That's like, if they did Kyle Katarn now, they'd
Make him black.
No, they'd make him a stormtrooper. They'd make him a Django clone for some fucking reason.
Even though that was past the, even though that was at that point,
Exactly.
they weren't
It's like that was
cloning
past
anymore.
the-
They ran out of material.
Exactly, but because at least in this version of events in Battlefront 2, at least you can forgive it because, first of all, the narrative that this game has, like, while simple, is still effective at, like, making, like, a story dedicated to the 501st. It's still, there's little story, but it's still I'd say it's still a story worth telling, even if it's ultimately non-canon. And also having Tamora Morrison back was a plus, too. Damn Jedi.
By the way, that was so stupid when they were like, they can fly now. It's like, yeah, they've been able to fly ever since Battlefront 2. Oh, you probably haven't played the games. That's
Who specifically?
well, in that. Remember that was the line. That was the line in the Rise of Skywalker was they had jetpacks, and then they're like, they can fly now, and it's like, well,
They've had
they
jetpacks for
course.
years.
yeah, exactly.
Dark Trooper. Yeah, literally the Dark Troopers.
It's like jetpacks have been a thing in the Star Wars universe for fucking centuries.
Hello, Django and Boba Fett.
Exactly.
At the
Yep.
very least, the Jet Troopers from Battlefront as well, the Dark Troopers as well. It's like at least in terms of the major factions, there have definitely been jetpacks.
Well, if they can make
Right.
catapult motorcycles, I think that's a little more obscure than, hey, we can buy some used jetpacks from military guys over there. Not that big a stretch.
Right.
No, it's not. Exactly.
Just feel that Imperial technology.
We have big laser guns, and we have really, really big laser guns. Like, okay.
That's another thing that didn't make sense to me with the sequel trilogy was like these people need money. Like you can't just unless you're dealing with some society where it's like, oh yeah, we're just giving this all away for free. And it's like, no, you'd probably have like, who's running the Imperial like merchant guilds.
I will give Last Jedi a small piece of credit here. Because that freaking hacker smuggler guy they saved from the prison on that weird planet,
Codebreaker.
that casino planet, the Codebreaker guy, he established that the ship they borrowed, you're like, this guy made his money from selling to your guys and their guys. It's war. The only thing you can do is come out on top. It doesn't really matter who's right or wrong. Established that, yeah, there are third-party brokers selling to both sides to make a profit. But
Yeah,
there's the kicker. Where are they getting money?
I always find it laughable that what's his name, Rose and Finn, they break that guy out and they inadvertently made it
immediately
worse.
sells
Yeah, well, yeah, that too. But like they made it worse for the rebels.
And remind me, he doesn't even show up in Rise of Skywalker, does he?
No. Well, I don't know. I didn't watch
see
it.
it.
Fucking
It's
And he
pointless.
immediately sells them out.
Yeah, but I just always find it funny. It's like, wow, you made it worse, you idiots.
Right.
You were
It's
supposed to
like-
help us, you idiots.
That their plot goes literally nowhere.
yeah.
What also makes no sense is that the not rebels anymore, but post New Republic, whatever.
And they're still
Resistance.
called resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you call it that?
Like you're the new Republic. I can
But
buy
what I mean
first order.
is why do they still have the junk ships that the rebels had? Because the rebels had them stripped off the armor plating for quicker maintenance and everything, not
Yeah.
because and of course
Yeah,
for
it's
the movie
purely
because
just
it looked,
thematics at
it
that
looked
point.
better.
Yeah,
But-
the Rebel Alliance, they were using makeshift repair
Yes.
equipment and old
All those ships were
Republic and
donated.
Separatist starfighters. They were
Donated
they
or
were
stolen.
rebels. They were rebels. They were not stolen. They were liberated.
Same difference.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm being-
Many
I'm
of
being
them were
cheeky.
also donated by other races.
by third party brokers.
It's sort of like Dune in comparison to Star Wars for this, because they had an answer for some of the stuff. Like the Emperor in there wasn't really the one running everything. I mean, he kind of was, but it was more just the merchant guilds who provided all the resources.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had loyalists like the Sardaukar in his army, but everything else was off-world because the whole galaxy required Dune to operate.
Yeah, that's what I think would be running the Empire. It's not the Emperor. It's whoever's manufacturing these blasters, the walkers, like all that stuff. They'd be the ones pulling the strings.
Why
All
did
right.
we switch to Dune?
Because it's just a good example of how it works.
All right, I do want to mention, like, this is one of the few examples of non-canon Star Wars material, like taking it and running with it, because this and the next mission are pretty much what ifs. For this mission, we're back on Mustafar dealing with a Geonosian that wants to bring back the droid army.
Which we've seen in canon and legends that
Well, after this, yes.
Vader had a secret army of battle droids to use at his disposal.
Yeah, but this was really the first instance of an attempt at a post Order 66 droid army.
Yeah.
In this case, as the Empire, we have to stop the Geonosian Gizor Delso from reactivating the factory on Mustafar.
So Mustafar was actually a practical location because you could use the heat and everything to as part of your droid manufacturing process.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even know that. That's pretty cool.
It's like I do at least want to do the next mission, which is on Camino, where it's like the Empire is to go back to Camino to finish off the last of the clone army, which is my personal favorite mission in the campaign, albeit a bit quick.
One of the things that, and I know this is kind of nitpicky, that never made sense to me in the Star Wars universe, and this is going back to A New Hope, was the trash compactor scene where Luke says, "My gun is jammed," and I was like, "Wait, your laser gun is jammed?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
What
It's
do you-
Like
that's a
these-
little odd.
Yeah, these blasters do have a battery pack that charges the bolts, and they can swap in and out packs. There isn't ammunition of a sort to these laser weapons, but it's
Right.
That was actually in. It wasn't in the film, but if you read the novelization for Star Wars Episode 1, Obi-Wan's lightsaber stops working for a short time because remember they go into the water.
Oh yeah, must have. Like, that actually makes sense. That would damage the circuitry.
Wait, when
Yeah.
exactly? And about episode one?
Wait, but
Well,
lots
they
of other stuff, they're using lightsabers underwater.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
think of Kit Fisto.
In the
Although
novelization,
you could argue that came later, where they learned how to waterproof their technology.
Yeah,
Well, they
that
actually-
was episode 1. Yeah.
they used it as a means of showing how Obi-Wan was still kind of green. He was still in training, and it was Qui-Gon saying, be mindful of what you do with your lightsaber. That was basically what they used it for.
Fair point.
I mean, I could buy that because that's not so far removed. Like, you can fire like a gun underwater. Like in real life, you can fire a gun underwater, but it's not going to be as effective. So I could kind of buy that, the whole lightsaber kind of working a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the technology.
I'm going to say that you can safely fire a firearm underwater, but make sure it's fully submerged. If you just stick the barrel down there, you're creating a break, and you're going to blow your barrel out, and possibly your face.
Yep.
All right, here's Doug Keller. Hey, Keller, how's it going? Any of you gents ever seen the movie Lord of War? Well,
yes,
I do.
Long time ago.
I know of it, but I've never actually seen it.
Yes,
I've seen
watch
clips
it.
of it.
Good.
One of his better films before he goes crazy.
Whose film? Who was the director?
I think he's talking about Nicolas Cage.
I don't know the director.
Oh.
Before Nicolas Cage went crazy, which
I'm pretty sure. Okay,
It's
you know what?
debatable.
I kind of like crazy Nicolas Cage. Like it is.
everybody
entertaining.
does.
Yeah.
Like Nicolas Cage is a very entertaining actor. He's a very hammy, campy actor. And that's what people, He knows that, and that's what people like about it. Even when he's half-assing his lines, it's very half-assed in a very Nicolas Cage way.
Okay. I do want to talk on this specifically. I don't know if the EA Battlefronts have this, like but in like the older ones, like the enhanced weapons here.
No, they do not have enhanced. No, they don't.
Yeah, when you do a certain amount of kills or a certain amount of something, it's like within the match in one life that you get an enhanced weapon.
No, they do not have that.
Yeah, but in this case, like I've been able to survive this whole time, and I got the enhanced rifle, which is semi-automatic, like 3 shots, like that.
That's burst fire.
That's
not
burst fire.
semi-automatic.
Burst fire, yeah. Like to get a burst fire.
What you had before was semi-automatic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's why you need the Republic Commando gun, where you can just change its modes.
Well, since in the Battlefront 2 remaster project, it's like in the case of the clone, when they changed out the clone commander for the Republic Commando, they gave you like a weapon that was more accurate to the Republic Commando rifle.
Legally speaking, a weapon that runs burst fire is actually considered a machine gun in United States law.
Yep.
I had flashbacks there.
Where are those droidicas?
The droidicas, yeah. It's between them and I think it is like between them and the Magna Guards. Those are the advanced classes for the droid army.
And while there is certain means you can legally own a machine gun in the United States, and for the
You
most
got to pay
part,
like a tax stamp.
tax stamp, and it has to be a pre-1984 ban.
Yep.
And by the way, those are very, very expensive.
Yeah.
I've actually looked into the legal means to own a machine gun because I collect weapons. I like firearms. I'm a weapons enthusiast. I'm like, okay, I know I can do it. What's the legal process? What are the steps I have to take to get one? No.
Your squad was all dogpiling you.
It can never leave the registered property unless it's in transportation to a new registered property. I do not live in the country, and I do not own a firing range. So,
Are there gun regulations for Star Wars blasters?
Presumably, I would have to assume there are. But
You can pull the boycott. You got a permit for that lightsaber there, bud?
I'm not going to spend tens of thousands of dollars on something that's going to be a glorified paperweight.
You ever go on Gunbroker?
I have not.
Wait.
Oh, they got it's basically eBay for guns.
I know what it is.
Okay.
Where you can hook up with people in your area to purchase firearms from people.
Well, yeah, you bid on it. You bid on the on a weapon, but they have a page for Class 3 firearms, and the stuff they have on there is just outrageous.
Well, these are collectible pieces, and the transfer process. Well, here's to remember: these are a premium. They don't manufacture these anymore.
Right, but I'm saying like go on there. They have some stuff on there that's like outrageous. Like I think I saw like a minigun on there once.
Actually, a minigun is not a Class 3 firearm.
or I don't remember exactly, but
What?
it was. I think it was like a minigun, and they had it for like 32 grand or something like that.
That's bad. That's what they cost. A minigun is not a machine gun because it is separate barrels and separate firing pins. So it is technically a dozen different firearms all chained together.
Oh, that
Okay.
reminds me. They had.
You
They had.
you can
So
legally
you need 12
own.
permits?
No. Well, not in the United States anyway.
Okay, I
you
brought
can
up the page right now.
legally own a minigun without 1984 regulation, tax stamps, or anything, or registration, or anything like that. You just need a fuckload of money.
Yeah, I'm on the page right now.
That would be the modern equivalent to a cannon.
Well, actually, a cannon in the United States isn't even considered a firearm. It's black
Even
powder.
better. Have both.
Yeah, it's more akin to a Gatling gun, which you also do not need a machine gun license for.
All right,
You just need not as much money, but you still need a lot of money because the mechanics behind a Gatling gun are
I was just thinking,
typical to
you know,
manufacture
convert your house
and
into
very
a
expensive.
pirate ship. Put
Put
big cannons in each window.
Tally ho, you rapscallion! I keep a musket for home defense, just as the founding fathers intended.
Oh God.
I
All right, now.
I love that meme.
All right, now, like I said before, this in my opinion is like one of the big highlights of the game. Going
Yeah.
back to Camino, Empire versus Clones, and
And you have the Imperial March.
and the cherry on top playing as Boba Fett, the original clone.
And it's just and then
Okay,
you have, of
okay,
course,
actually,
the
no, remind
Imperial
me.
March going.
Okay, actually, no. Remind me. Yeah, is Boba Fett like the first clone? Made?
He's from the original batch.
He's from the original generation of clones. Yes, but was he like the first? Or am
I don't think
misremembering?
so. He's just from the original generation.
Yeah, because
batch.
that was the bargain that Django made with the Kaminoans. It's like,
He
yeah,
wanted an unaltered clone to raise as a son.
Wait, was
Hey.
Boba Fett small batch or was he single barrel?
what?
I'm just never mind.
Funny.
Double oaked. Yeah, that's what.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay,
I keep a musket for home defense as the founding fathers intended. 4 ruffians break into my house and I blow a golf ball sized hole through his chest. He's dead on the spot.
I'm gonna do this for here as
I
well.
then go to my sidearm and fire, but miss entirely and nail the neighbor's dog because it's small bore.
Smooth bore.
Smooth bore. I forget exactly how it all goes. I lunge forward with my triangle bayonet. It is impossible to stitch together.
Yeah.
I remember
You have to resort to the cannon loaded with grape shot.
Yeah. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Tally ho!
You know what? My only complaint with this mission is that it is pretty easy to confuse the clone troopers with the stormtroopers from a distance.
Yeah.
Which I'm just like, can you blame me? It's like, at least within the continuity of this game, the reason is that they just converted the clone armor into the stormtrooper armor. At least in this version of events.
Like, that is just great.
And it's also, for me, at least this mission is like so poetic. It's like Django was the one that agreed to be the template for the clones. And then in this mission, like Boba Fett coming back to Camino to finish them off.
Yeah, his son's cleaning up his father's mess.
Pretty much.
It's like poetry, so it rhymes.
Yeah, that's how you. Yeah, this is how you do it, Lucas. It's like Pandemic Studios were able to come up with it here. Why not you in the big universe? And especially Disney has no excuse. They have everything.
Oh, Disney is one of those companies where they've gotten too big to fail.
Oh.
It doesn't matter how low effort what they put out. It'll still make money because people will
We'll
go out
see.
because brand.
Well, that's the problem. Yeah.
Leviathans can die.
Yes.
Oh, I
Seen
probably
and
agree with that.
and it just takes a long time for the feet
Honestly-
to realize that the head is dead.
Yeah. And honestly, we see that happening with Disney now because pretty much all of their movies that have come out recently have been flops.
Yeah. They managed to kill Star Wars.
Speaking of Disney, they're making another Haunted Mansion movie.
Why?
Honestly, I kind of like the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion. Yeah, it's stupid, but it's kind of entertaining.
I watched the trailer for it. I watched the trailer for it like yesterday. It's
Can
not
you hit the
bad.
phone, please? Thank you. Shit.
Like, it's entertaining. It's nothing good, but it's fun. It's a stupid movie. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, they had oh god, what's her name in it? I forget the actress's name. Danny DeVito was in it. Owen Wilson.
Danny DeVito's in this movie.
Yeah, I think Danny DeVito's like a ghost.
You know what? I might go watch it just because Danny DeVito.
Yeah. I forget the actress's name that's in the movie. Oh, fuck. But the kid, she has like a son that just had me cracking up. They go into the mansion and it's just like all decrepit and like cobwebs and shit everywhere. And the mom's like, it might look terrible now, but I'm gonna light up a vanilla candle and it's gonna be a game changer. And the son is just like terrified and he goes, "Will it though?" I just started laughing so hard.
Like that's kind of passive
terrified
aggressive.
to be there.
Like that's downright passive aggressive. I like that.
And I'm like, are you sure Disney's making this? This is funny.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you got Owen Wilson as like a priest.
Oh god.
Every now and then you get a
Yeah.
one that you get something that comes out that you didn't expect to be good, like the Puss in Boots 2.
Oh boy.
Oh, I friggin' loved the second Puss in Boots. Like, I wasn't that impressed with the first trailer. Like, whatever, I'll catch it on a DVD or something. Then everyone online is saying it's so good, and I'm seeing clips, and the clips I saw were fucking hilarious. Like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll go watch it when I'm off work. And it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jack, you're not going to shoot a puppy, are you? Yeah, in the face. Why?
Oh, you're talking about the Last Wish one. I keep thinking there's
Yes.
another Puss in Boots movie.
There is.
There
Well,
is.
no, I'm
This is
saying,
the sequel.
I'm saying,
There's two.
I keep thinking there's 3. Like the Last Wish is the third one for some reason.
No,
I don't know why.
This is the sequel. The first Puss in Boots is a pretty typical mediocre kids movie.
Yeah, but it's
Right.
okay. It's
Like,
already in that vein.
just okay. It's just fine.
Yeah.
Like nothing special, but nothing terrible. It's like it's serviceable.
Yeah, it's like Hollywood. It's like at least with a couple films here and there, at least they're in a little bit of an upswing. Like,
But
there's a long
if
way to
you-
go
if you
still,
wa-
but yeah.
have you ever watched Zorro movies?
The
Yeah.
Zorro.
Yeah,
the old ones.
I really
Yeah.
like the Mask of Zorro with Antonio
Yeah.
Banderas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
if you
love
watch
movie.
if you watch that first and then you watch the first Puss in Boots movie, it's the same movie almost.
Well,
Kinda.
it's also the same actor.
Well, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
like,
that's
I
right.
mean, Puss
He's
in Boots,
using,
Shrek, Puss in
Banderas
Boots
is using
was,
some of the very, very lines from Mask of Zorro.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Antonio Banderas' Puss in Boots was supposed to be a parody of Zorro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on, hit it.
Actually, Disney used to own. I think maybe they still do. They still own Zorro.
I think that was DreamWorks that made the Mask of Zorro.
Oh, not the Mask of Zorro. I'm talking about the old one,
The
like
original.
the live action one.
Maybe.
There you go. Finally hit.
Isn't Zorro a DC Comics character too?
I think so.
What, the really, really old one? I don't think so, no.
Oh, okay. I thought I remember him. Didn't they? Someone made comics of Zorro. I can't remember who.
yeah.
though.
Yeah, they did afterwards, but there was a Disney Zorro, and there was something else called the what was it called? He's been in a lot of stuff. They've had a lot of spin-offs. Like this was
Yeah.
back in the what was
80s?
it? Well, actually, probably 1920s.
Oh, wow.
But then the series premiered. I think it was in the late 50s, and then Disney picked it up. Here, let me look at this.
Yes, there was a 1981 Zorro Gay Blade. What? It is.
The Bold Caballero. That was
I think this is a parody.
Originally, it was called the Bold Caballero, and then I think that later became Zorro.
Yeah, this is Zorro the Gay Blade is a swashbuckler comedy from 1981 that is not well received.
Okay, I am gonna hop out
Wasn't
here.
there a reference in like
everyone.
one of the Batman movies or something, or Batman properties, like Bruce and his parents?
That's what they went to go watch when his parents were killed.
Nope, we lost Wisp, I think.
Oh no, he
Yeah,
said he had to hop out. I actually got to
okay.
go too,
Yeah.
but this has been fun.
Yeah, I think we're good to go. That was almost 2 hours of us watching Gingaman and have a great time. So
Yeah, there were a few Zorro comics. The Mark of Zorro, issue number 1 by Johnston McCulley.
Maybe we could do a Spudcast on Zorro sometime. I don't know.
Gee, that's an old one.
That'd be interesting. But to see,
I don't know if you watched it.
Well, I have. It's just been a while. Like the same with the Three
there are.
Musketeers
Zorro
and
Zorro is a comic book. The Fox is what his name means. Was created in 1919 by Johnston McCulley for his serialized novel, The Curse of Capistrano. I probably but Capistrano.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning
First
in.
of 65 popular tales. Cool.
We're going to call it a night, but thank you, Gingaman, for your stream. That was
And he is owned by the DC Comics.
okay. That was neat. Thank you, everyone, for paying attention. I know it's kind of late for some people on a Saturday, but thank you so much for tuning in. We're not sure what we're going to do after this fact. We might be having a game night. I don't know. We're kind of tired. It's up to us. We'll find out. But anyway, we'll talk to you guys real soon. Have yourself a great evening. Bye-bye.
All right, y'all take care.
Goodbye.
You too. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for having me.